And that's all reactionaries have at their disposal, lying. But sometimes they do something that I find really funny, which is describe the current existing conditions under capitalism and then claim this is what socialism would look like. And of course, one of my favorite figures that did that recently is Newt Gingrich. Let's take a look at what Newt had to say about the party of hope and change is now the party of socialism and suffering.
What we're finding is the Mandamis of the world, the AOCs of the world, they're down at 10 or 15%, but they're in extremely democratic districts, or they're up against really weak opponents. The fact is, when we get to, I'll give you an example. I sent out today on X and on social media, does Mandami think that Madison Square Garden should be at 78 degrees during the wedding this weekend? Now, I guarantee you, think about it. You think, Taylor?
The 78-degree air conditioning thing is so stupid because it exists in every state. It exists in Texas. It has always existed in New York. Michael Bloomberg asked for it too. Every single mayor since Rudolph Giuliani has demanded this. It exists in Georgia. It exists everywhere. Okay, first of all, it's just a suggestion to reduce congestion on the electricity grid at times when people need it most for places like hospitals. We can have a conversation about why the American energy grid is not capable of providing sufficient energy to every single place in peak consumption periods, but that's a conversation for a separate day. But if you're presenting this as like something unique to communism or socialism, or that this is not a mere suggestion, but instead something that is punishable by law, you're a liar. Oh, they're doing hostile takeover style communism. It's bullshit.
You don't want to stand there sweating and...
No, nor should she.
But here's the big lesson. Socialism takes power from you. They take care of the powerful. They take care of the guys with connections. And they rip off the rest of us.
Dog, you just described your position in the current existing system. You just described capitalism and what happens right now to an audience of people that can kind of realize that too. Like this is, as conditions worsen, this becomes undeniable for average folks, okay? For working class folks. Even if they're like brain broken from right-wing propaganda, reactionary propaganda, anti-communist propaganda, Red Scare propaganda, ultimately, they hear you say that and they go, wait a minute, but that sounds a lot like what's going on right now. What the Hold on now, partner.
So Mandami is saying their policies block them from creating enough electricity to have normal American level air conditioning where you get to pick what you're willing to have in your house. So instead, they're going to try to impose across all of New York City a 78-degree uniform temperature unless you're powerful, you're famous, and then, of course, there's an exception.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Imagine a system like that, dude. It says Prem Talker, which, of course, is the current system. There's also Jessica Tarlov cooking on, Fox 5.
I assume that you want to broaden this segment to also criticize Greg Abbott and like Brandon Gill, the Texas congressman who comes out and he wants to dunk on Mamdani, say, oh, you big socialist mess or communist mess, whatever. And Texas Advisory, when it gets hot, the Public Utility Commission of Texas and the Department of Energy recommends thermostats to be set to 78 degrees. Greg Abbott says, could you conserve some energy? And they've had problems with their grid. Remember, Ted Cruz takes off for Cancun when the grid goes down. So this is just good policy, in fact. And I'm pretty jealous. I would take 78 degrees right now over this 103 or 150 or whatever is going on. So I don't know, check what's going on in your own state before you go after someone else, because someone is going to bring it up on television. And I'm done now.
Yep. Fantastic. Department of Energy deleted their 78-degree articles to smear Mamdani. Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh my God. By the way, in communist Texas, you also get asked to set your AC to 78. In communist Florida, same thing. Communist California, communist Arizona, Ohio, Missouri, Maryland, North Carolina. Turns out 78 was actually dictated by the Department of Energy. Is what you would know if you went to the Department of Energy article that existed until this news cycle. They deleted it. The Department of Energy appears to have deleted its thermostat level recommendations to avoid people noticing that their generic recommendations was set to indoor temperatures at the same level which Zoran was asked New Yorkers to maintain during a grid-stressing heat wave. Ruva says our society cannot survive this. Republicans just drum up lies, and their well-funded messaging ecosystem amplifies those lies, leading to things like this. This makes it impossible to respond to any crisis. This will get people killed during acute emergencies. It's insane. The largest U.S. power grid, PJM, said it can no longer meet expected energy demands and will implement a plan to reduce electricity use across 67 million customer service area in Mid-Atlantic South and Washington, D.C. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but we've had unprecedented heat in summers in the past. Sometimes it does lead to rolling blackouts, but there is something new this time. This heat season, this heat wave season, we have something else that's maybe drawing a lot of power. That's right, data centers. Shut them off. Why are we shutting off the electricity grid for regular ass civilians? Shut the data centers off right now. No more Claude, no more ChatGPT. We're not ChatGPTing it. We're not grokking it. What are we doing, man? They're going to take away your ACs and turn America into Europe so data centers can run? Oh, dude, Americans will revolt. You'll have a second American revolution, straight up. Remember, Americans actually care quite a bit about their comforts, and this is one of them. And it goes beyond a comfort at that point. It becomes life-saving. Yeah. Before people complain about Zoran Mamdani being a bad mayor and doesn't know what he's talking about, let's take a look at what Zoran Mamdani was saying 5 years ago. Why New York needs public power.
Did you ever wonder why New York State only gets 5% of its energy from wind and solar? It's because of one word: capitalism. I'm Zoran Mamdani, Assembly Member for District 36 and a proud eco-socialist. Today, I want to talk to you about utilities and why they suck. In the early 1900s, JP Morgan merged all of the electricity and gas companies in New York into one company called Consolidated Gas. This for-profit monopoly spent millions of dollars buying public officials, extorting the city of New York, and charging New Yorkers a 300% markup on electricity. And in the past 100 years, not much has changed. Consolidated Gas is now Consolidated Edison, or Con Ed. And across New York State, for-profit monopolies continue to control our power. They charge us some of the highest rates in the country, which can triple at random. And they spend millions of dollars lobbying elected officials to maintain their stranglehold on our power system. Not only that, Con Ed and other utilities lobby against the development of renewables because it's more profitable for them to keep using fossil fuels. We need an energy system that treats electricity as it is, a public good, and prioritizes people and the planet over the profits of Wall Street investors. Across the state, New Yorkers are fighting for public power, a publicly owned, democratically controlled energy system that will create 35,000 jobs and end the private utility system. Check out the link to write your legislator and join the fight. You can also sign up to organize with us to tell Con Ed and other utilities that we're going to build the energy system we want without them, because it's time for us to take our power back.
Yep. So before people complain about Zoran not knowing what he's talking about, he's been talking about this shit. Also, here's some additional information from More Perfect Union. Data centers are the leading cause of a 76% increase in the cost of electricity for America's largest power grid just the first 3 months of this year. This is according to the communists over at Bloomberg, famous communism understanders and enjoyers over at Bloomberg, writing this commie hit piece nonsense. The 13-state grid managed by PJM served 67 million and costs have spiked this year. This time last year, the cost of electricity on this grid was 77.78 per megawatt hour. Now that cost almost doubled to 136.53 per megawatt hour. Bloomberg attributes that skyrocketing cost to the booming demand for artificial intelligence data centers, which require vast amounts of energy and are putting a significant burden on America's aging power grids. Okay?